Yo, what's up?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm all right, apart from a big red shiny nose, as you pointed out to me earlier.
Do you know, it was funny. It was just as you were going on it. I don't know if some kind of light come into your room, but it just made it like bling. And I was just like,
It made it like bling.
yeah, like shiny Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer. Christmas has come early. But anyway, how are you?
I'm okay, thank you. I'm fine. I'm gravy. Yeah. I've had a busy few days with work and doctor's appointments and driving to Glastonbury and driving back from Glastonbury and then driving to Glastonbury and then driving back from Glastonbury. So, but yeah, no. What about you,
Oh,
boys? Back
sounds
at
good.
school?
Yeah. Boys back at school, so getting back into routine. We had a heartbroken Gino walk into the house yesterday in tears.
Is he split
His
up with his
girl, his girlfriend broke up with him, and yeah, Gino being very sensitive, I would say.
Yeah.
So he was very emotional,
Oh,
very
bless.
emotional. Bless him. 13 years old and they're already going through things like that. It's crazy, but yeah.
Traumatic.
Other than that, and
Yeah.
then Rocco, you know Rocco quite well. You know Rocco's just doing his thing, and yeah.
Oh, I
So,
wrote my autobiography.
oh no, you were reading some of it in the back of
Yeah.
in the green room. It was good. It was
Yeah.
good.
I think at the last count, it's 13,000 words. So in 3 days. In
That's
3
a
days.
lot. 3 days.
I've literally just been writing it over 3 days, so it's quite nice. But we've got a lovely guest tonight. We have Cam's mum. She has come
Ah,
back with us. Louisa's amazing. She's medium. You were not present the first time round.
no,
No,
I can't remember why.
no, I
Why
can't
wasn't
remember
I
why you
present?
chickened out. I'm sure we can think of an excuse why. So yeah,
It most probably had something to do with the kids, or
don't blame the
you know
kids.
me. Hey,
That's
no,
bad
I'm not
parenting.
blaming the kids, but if something comes up with the boys, I've got to sort them out.
Yeah,
But no,
I'll
I'm
let
glad to
you.
be on tonight.
Yeah,
It should be a
so
good chat tonight. Good
I will
chat.
bring up the lovely Louisa, currently sitting in her lounge in Glastonbury, and I tell you what, it's so amazing there. It's such a beautiful view,
Is it?
such a beautiful view, and it's so peaceful. So I'm going to bring Louisa up now, so we can all say hello. Good evening.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, I bet the sunset's lovely over there, isn't it, at the moment?
Oh, it's a little bit cloudy, so we can't really see the sun at the moment. Yeah, but you know, the view from my house is over the Somerset Levels, and it's spectacular. So we face west, and of course the sun sets in the west, so we do get some spectacular sunsets here.
Yeah, it's very nice. Very nice.
Very blessed to be here.
You are very blessed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see who we have in the room. So we have Katie Forrester. Good evening. Cheerful Honeybee, Erica James, Oliver Briggs, and Isabel Smith. Katie says hello. Cheerful Honeybee says, welcome back, Louisa.
Oh.
Question: can you see spirits all the time?
No, not all the time. I'm quite disciplined because I switch on and off. I'm working and I'm not working. But then sometimes when I least expect it, I can see spirit, or they show themselves to me when I least expect it. And I've had it just recently where I was doing a sit-in for somebody who I didn't know was actually a medium, and spirit overshadowed them, and I could see the spirit really clearly overshadowing them. And I did tell them in the end, and they knew who it was as well. So so they can just show themselves to you, you know. It's the energy has to be right, Rob. The energy. Yeah. It's all about energy.
Erica Jane says, hi guys, and hello Louisa. I read tarot cards. Do you believe in them? Do you believe them to be real? As I've seen the future. I've seen the future and no one believes me.
Oh, yes, of course I do believe them to be real. I've been reading tarot for over 30 years, and they're very magical little friends, the tarot cards, and you have to treat them so and look after them. And they can reveal, when you really connect with them on a personal level, they can reveal some very magical and beautiful things to you. So it gives you some very accurate information in signals and readings as well.
So can they predict the future?
Yes, I think so. They can, and I have seen the future with them. But I'm a little bit cautious with future predictions. Would you like me to explain why?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So future predictions. So say somebody comes into my office for a reading, and I tell them that they're going to move house, okay, in the next 6 months. When they leave my office, and of their own free will, they decide, I'm not going to do that. Okay, it changes the outcome completely. So you probably understand that, because everything is down to free will and everything is changeable in the universe. So I don't believe that it's actually set in stone. So you can pick up future predictions, and I've had future predictions in dreams that have come to pass that I've had no control over. So it works both ways, really. So it can change, and sometimes they stay as they are.
So with tarot cards, because we had this discussion a few months ago, I think, wasn't it? Because I turned around and said, okay. So I turned around and said I didn't know if I believed in them, because the way I see it with the cards, it's like picking up a pack of playing cards, just shuffling it, and it's just pot luck which ones you're picking. Mm-hmm. So do you think that when you're doing the tarot cards for someone, is it a spirit that's guiding you in shuffling and then stopping at a certain point, and then those cards are done by spirit then?
It's a combination, Nando, of everything. You're working with your own spirit, your own intuition, your own psychic centers of clairvoyance, clairsentience. You're picking up on your own feelings with things. The tarots are but a tool. They're a tool, really, to help and guide us in our sittings and in our readings, to give guidance to people. But really, it's a combination of our spirit guides working with us, our own psychic senses, the energy that we're picking up from the sitter as well, because we tune into the psyche of the sitter, and it's a whole cauldron of those things all mixed together.
Okay.
So when you're doing it, so when you're sitting with someone with the tarot cards, then when you're picking the cards, do you pick them literally from the top down into order, or will you lay them out and then pick specific cards that you have that feeling that you're drawn to?
So I work with the Celtic Cross, and so what I do is when a client comes to me, I'll give them the pack to shuffle. I would have cleared them and prepared them and smudged them. Give them the pack to shuffle. They hand it back to me. Then I just turn them over into the Celtic Cross, and I put them to the side. And then I start to read. But if a client has a specific question, I will consult the tarot. So I'll shuffle while I'm asking the tarot very carefully, because we have to be very specific with your words and questions. That question, and then I'll turn some cards over and we get the answers usually. Yeah, it's usually quite accurate.
So do you have to be sitting with the person when you do a reading, or can someone do a reading without you being there?
Yeah, I do them remotely as well. So sometimes people call me in for a micro reading, which is where they just might have one question that they need guidance on. And then I'll pull some cards, tune in with my spirit team, and then I'll send them a voice note to let them know what's come up. And it's usually pretty helpful for them. It's usually quite accurate. Okay. Yeah.
Oliver says Cam's mum is in the house with 2 kisses. Bless him, you gotta love Ollie. Louisa is amazing mentor from Isabel Smith.
Oh, Isabel, hello.
Daryl Evans says, hello, guys. Good evening, Daryl. Hope you're well.
Hello, buddy.
Erica says, see, Rob, I told you your future. I knew that was coming next after you said yes.
We'll move on. So just to ask you, because I didn't get to meet you in the first time that you were on with Rob. So when did you realise, or how did you realise that you had these abilities?
Sure. Well, when I was quite young, I used to get a lot of premonitions. Yeah, you've changed.
I've just been demoted. I'm like, well, what's just happened?
No, you were off the screen completely.
Right, shall I carry on? When I was younger, I had a lot of premonitions, just in the way of intuition and dreams and things like that, Nando. And then when I got to my early 20s, I was invited to a big seminar with lots of mediums there, quite well-known mediums and etc. And I was having dinner with them that evening, on the mediums table. And one of the mediums said to me, please come to my seminar tomorrow because I want to show you something. And I went along, and there was about 100 people there. And she invited me up on the platform with her. And I was terrified. I was thinking, what is she going to do? She said she wanted to show me what I could do. So she guided me, and she just put her hand on my shoulder and said, Louisa, just see who you're with in the room. And I went to this lady immediately. I felt drawn to her. We got her to stand up, and then I started to give her some information about herself and her life, which was all accurate. And then as I was working, I started to feel her uncle come through. I'd never done this before. Who had been killed in a mining accident. And I gave her the information and she understood it all. And I didn't know how I did it. I didn't know anything about mediumship then. And she said to me, I just wanted to show you what you can do. So she saw it in my energy, you see. And she said, you'll be doing this when you're 40. And she was exactly right. When I got to 40, I started to really work properly on platforms, serving the spiritualist churches, things like that. So, yeah.
Blimey.
So how did you harness your abilities, and what routes did you take to have it, like, because I imagine you got to get into some kind of routine with it all and try and place everything to understand it all. So what routes did you take to harness it?
Well, that's a good question, Nando, because mine were very organic. I was drawn very naturally to a psychic surgeon, and I used to work with him and his wife. Actually, it was my ex-mother-in-law and her husband, Ray Brown, who's a very well-known psychic surgeon. And I started doing healing with them. And I'd work with them in their clinics and support them. And I used to travel all over the country doing that. And then as I would give healing, I started to feel spirit people coming close. And with the permission of the person receiving the healing, I would give the information from the spirit person. And that's how my mediumship really started to work. And then I went on to really develop the psychic part of my work, which is working with the tarot, I worked on Sky TV you can't do mediumship on there. So it was all psychic readings. So I kind of really developed my psychic ability, but the mediumship is my passion. And that's something that I've done very naturally and organically from quite a young age, really.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got a question, Rob? Because I got another one. So I'm going to give you a chance to get in there before I start going again.
I've got one from Daryl. Daryl says, I can see future events for only like a few seconds. Could I train myself to see future events for longer, or is it only what it wants me to see?
It could be the possibility that you could train yourself. But my question to you would be, how are you seeing them? Is it like a TV in your mind? Is it like a TV screen and you're getting the event playing out? Or is it more of a feeling? Or are they coming in the way of dreams? A lot of people who are very clairvoyant can get those visions. They have visions of future events. Or you could be getting a remote view. You see, this is where I probably need to speak to you more, because a remote view is where you're going into another dimension now, in this moment, and seeing what's going on over there. So, for example, the army years ago, and they probably still do it now, would employ mediums who could remote view to go and spy on the enemy to find out what they're doing, you see. So it is a thing. It's actually a thing, remote viewing. So I'd wonder if you're remote viewing, or are they visions of the future? That's my question.
Oh, that's cool. That is cool.
Go on then, Nando. Fire away.
So, when I think about mediums, everything that you do, you're on a path and you're helping people. You're giving them readings. And do you think you were given these abilities by a higher power? Do you believe in, like, there was someone that saw you and said, look, this person's special. We want to give her these abilities to help these people? Or why do you think you have these abilities?
I think we all have them, Nando, to different degrees. And when we incarnate, we come back here with our specific purpose and our own unique gifts. You'll have gifts, Rob will have gifts, Cam's got gifts, and they'll all be different, you see. Everybody's got different gifts. And it's taken me a while, really, I think, to really hone in on my passion is the mediumship. Why do I love that? I love it because I can bring comfort to people who have lost loved ones. But not only that, to help to teach people as well. So I feel now I've really found my purpose in where my gifts are. But I'm, you know, I'm a healer, but I don't really do much healing. It's really weird. I used to do that years ago, but where I am now is that I feel that, and is it a higher purpose? Sorry, is it a higher an energy that's bringing those gifts as well is a good question, because I feel that when we connect as mediums, we are definitely connecting to a higher vibrational frequency, and we are connecting to the source of divine creation. So I think, yes, it does from the higher source. The information definitely does. And when we're being inspired, say if you're given a talk or something, or you're given an address, inspiration, that will come from a higher source as well.
But on the flip side, I get what you're saying, that you feel that everyone has that ability. But unfortunately, we live in a world where there is people that, you know, that fake things and scam, you know, and part of that, you know, there's been mediums, well, people that claim to be mediums, that they look for body language, they look for movements, eye contact. You know, is it quite difficult to be able to say, I'm a genuine person? Because there is people that are out there for their own selfish purpose.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's quite difficult for you. And for you to come out in front of people, being on TV, was that quite a difficult transition for you because of other people?
No, I never found it difficult, because I think, in answer to your question, it's very simple. It's the evidence. When you can bring through evidence of somebody that's been in the spirit world, and of their life, of their relationship, and evidence of that perhaps only that person would know. But sometimes you give evidence, they don't know it, and they go off and find it out and come back and tell you. So when you give a sitting, it has to be an evidential sitting. And that means I'm bringing through, or whoever the medium's bringing through, evidence of the loved one in the spirit world, evidence of continued life. That's really the job of the medium. That's why we do it. Yeah. Cool. Without evidence, then I get you. Yeah. People can cold read, they can go with the body language, you know, or just make it up. Yeah. There's some people that perhaps believe that they're doing a good job, but without the evidence, how do we know who it is in the spirit world coming through? You know, if I don't turn around and say to you, I've got your nan here and she's on mum's side, and I know she died of a heart attack when she was and giving you all that evidence, you wouldn't know who I've got with you if I just
no.
So it's about bringing that through, and I think that's what makes that's what sets true mediums apart to ones who are not working in truth, perhaps.
And with you then, are you connecting directly with that spirit that's coming through, or do you have like an intermediate, like between the both of you, someone that relays that information to you?
I love your questions; they're brilliant.
I hope they're all right, but Rob knows what I'm like. When I get into emotion about something and I'm trying to learn and I'm trying to understand, I'll just throw them at you and I'll go.
Keep going with them, because actually that's brilliant, because it really helps people to understand how it works. Now, sometimes when a medium connects with the spirit world, it's all about energy and vibrations, as we know. Now, if the person, the loved one, say somebody's mum wants to come through, if she's not been over there for a long time, or she doesn't know how to work with the energy to connect with the medium, then the guide usually steps in as an intermediary and will work with the energy to bring the information to the medium. Okay, and sometimes that happens with me, not always, but where the loved one in the spirit doesn't know how to work with it, because they have to learn how to work with that energy to come through. So, but then mostly I'm feeling the loved ones in the spirit world directly, but my guides are there working in the background, working with the energy to make it all happen.
And I've got one more question, and then I'll shut up, Rob. I promise. I'll let you talk. So we're talking about a direct contact with the spirit. Do they communicate with you? We're giving you symbols that you understand now. So they give you, like, when they're trying to explain what's happened to them. I know some mediums say this certain symbol means that they had something wrong with their breathing, or they see it. How do you see the information that comes to you?
Great, yeah. We all, the spirit world will work with the medium in any way that they can, any way that is able. So some mediums are more clairvoyant, which means they work with the third eye. They see images in their minds, or you can see it objectively outside as well. You can see the spirit, for example. But then some people are clairaudient, where they hear. It's with the throat chakra. The clairaudience is where you hear the spirit world. Yeah, wow. So you can hear. But most commonly, a lot of people, we work with the clairsentience, feeling, the gut feeling. That it's around the solar plexus. Now, it's I don't believe you can separate any of them, because when the information comes through, for me, I'm seeing an image, usually subjectively in my own mind. Then I get a feeling that's associated with that image, and I hear them sometimes as well. So it's a combination that enables me to bring through the information. And it happens so quickly and so gently and so beautifully that I don't think you can really separate it. But if you was to, as you're asking me, that's how I perceive mine. Sometimes when they're really wanting to get a piece of information, like a name or a date, over to me, they will shout in my ear, and it's quite loud. That would just be the name or the date or something like that. It's like, and I just really hear it. And sometimes I can hear it objectively, it's like I'm hearing you, or sometimes it's like a voice in my head.
Wow, amazing.
Go on,
Rob, I'll let you talk now. I'm going to keep my mouth shut now.
No, you're all right, mate. You're all right. Me and Louisa talk all the time, so it's nice for her to get to talk to someone else. Daryl said, going back to his thing, he said it shows him like a blackout and shows a TV screen.
Okay, so he's seen it as a TV screen. Yeah, I used to get that quite a lot. And he's seeing, and if any of his premonitions come to pass, if they come true, that would be the next thing. So perhaps
Katie says, do you think us light workers are being through the meal at the moment? By that I mean going through a lot of things that could be preparing us for something big in the future.
100%. 100%. Absolutely, yes. We are all on different levels.
So for you then, how can I put it? Do you need to train yourself to be quite, I wouldn't say like resilient to what you're getting? Because you can pick up any spirits, and I take it like you've had some really emotional. So do you have to build a barrier there to not show your emotions? Like, how do you control, especially if you've got a mother that's really wanting to connect with a child that they've lost? That's got to be quite difficult for you. So how do you deal with your own emotions? Because you're a mother as well.
Yeah.
You're a mother, and at the end of the day, you're a human being as well. And you're doing something that's massive. How do you control your own sense of feelings and to not allow that to?
That's something that you can. For me personally, Nando, I could only do that over time. It's training, practice, doing it, really. Because when I first started to read, I used to get overwhelmed sometimes, and then I'd feel like going into tears or emotion, and then I'm no good to anybody. So I had to train myself over the years to become much more stay in my own power, to not be, you can't shut off to it. But I had a situation, I won't go into it because it's personal for my sister, but I had a situation just recently where I was confronted with something with a young son, which was very tragic. And I could feel my emotions coming up because I've got a young son as well. Yeah. When it resonates with you and you can understand it. But I know that this mother really needed to hear from him. So I know that I had to be of service, and to be of service, I've got to be strong. So I had to just put that aside and go with the communication.
So what's your process? What's your process afterwards? Because you must need a way to not brush it off, but like sort of release yourself from everything that you're doing, because it's quite intense. You know, it takes a lot out of you. So what do you do to relax your mind, or just be Louisa then, and
Yeah,
not?
absolutely. I sort of I imagine I'm having a lovely shower, golden shower, taking away any energy down into the earth. I ground myself. I cut any ties that I might have made to the sitters, and I just thank Spirit and thank my guides for being able to be of service. And then I carry on my day. Yeah, I've been doing it for a long time now. But when I used to work with very high energies, it used to take me a long time to ground.
Wow.
Especially when I used to work a lot with the paranormal, you're working with quite intense energies then, and I'd come home and I wouldn't be able to sleep for hours because I'd be very etheric, very
Wired.
upper shaft wired. Yeah, absolutely. But grounding is a big part of my work as well. But yeah, it's training. There's no shortcut to it, Nando. Really, it's just training and practice and practice. I live a spiritual life. I wake up every morning. I do chanting and meditation and yoga, and I eat well. I look after myself. So my whole life is geared around my work with the spirit world. Really, it's all in preparation for that. So yeah, I think it's just years of practice.
Wow.
I can vouch
Go
for
on.
that because Sam's just like his mum. Literally, he tells me to get on the floor and cross my legs, and I'm like, me hip, I can't do it. Yeah,
That's funny. Well, I'm glad I rubbed off in a good way then.
yeah, he is. He does well, and it's like, living together and both of us being very spiritual. It's like we bounce off each other, which is quite nice. Same as when I came up to you at Christmas. It was quite intense up there, wasn't it, with like the spiritual stuff? So it was nice.
Yeah,
still
together is great. Yeah.
Yeah, there's still plenty I have to learn. So going on to the paranormal, how long have you been doing paranormal stuff?
My first experience with the paranormal was with a team in North London, and I guess I'm trying to think. It's got to be 20 years at least. Got to be. And the first paranormal investigation we did was at a pub in Essex, and I can't remember the name of it now. But this particular pub, had no customers going in at all, and they'd changed hands and changed hands and changed hands. There was nobody would actually set foot, and it was in a very affluent area in Essex. So they called us in to investigate it because they had a lot of phenomena going on. And oh my goodness, did we get a lot of phenomena that night. It was incredible. It was incredible, but it was quite negative, I have to say. And it was my first experience with the paranormal. And when I came home, I hadn't done, well, I was quite innocent to it, really. And I hadn't gone through all my usual rigmarole of closing down, cutting ties, protection, cleansing my energy. And for about a week, I was affected by negative energy. And I had to call in a member of the team to come and help me to clear my own energy. So that was quite an experience. And when we were sitting in vigil in this particular pub, one of the team we had TVs set up everywhere and all sorts going on. And we put this box, he had a spirit box, and he just bought it and he put it on the table. And we're sitting in vigil and it's around midnight, and all of a sudden this spirit box just we all saw it, picked itself up and just threw itself across the room, smashed on the wall.
Jeez.
Thank you very much, Reverend Wild Bill, for your $2. Much appreciated.
So when you're going into a paranormal investigation, that's totally different to what you do as a medium. Do you have to set rules to the spirits when you're going in? Because some of the history with a lot of buildings that we go to can be quite dark, and and you being on a different frequency and more open than others, are you not putting yourself at risk for something to potentially connect with you that's not good?
Good question.
I think if you don't do the right practices, Nando, then absolutely yes. It's got to be, and this is the big teaching that I learned with the first investigation that I just told you about, because it actually run me down quite badly for a week, and I had black eyes, literally black under my eyes.
Wow.
But it's negative, and I got so weak that I couldn't clear my own energy. That's why I had to call in a member of the team to come and do it for me. But that was a teaching, you see, huge teaching. Now when I go in, I'm pretty much, because of the life that I lead, I'd say I'm probably on a quite high vibration most of the time, and therefore those lower vibrational frequencies, I don't think that they could really come in and have any effect, because it's all about vibration, you see. So they couldn't come into my energy anymore and affect me anyway like that. And I've worked with a team in Germany. I'm currently with Avalon paranormal team. So I've done quite a lot with the paranormal over the years. And I just think it's made me stronger and stronger in my work, actually, and in my protection and being able to clear my energy. And I mean, I'm hoping that as I go into we're doing Chapter Mallet prison.
That's a great location. Great location.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's going to be quite intense. But I've been speaking to my spirit team and I've consulted with them. Is it okay for me to go in? I always ask them. And I've got the thumbs up. So it's all good. But what I'm finding I'm doing a lot of at the moment, and I've just recently done this in Germany, is that I'm going in and it's not so much an investigation. It's more helping spirit to pass over that have been earthbound. They're coming to me and saying, we want to go over, or we've been stuck there. I investigated the ancient Ram Inn last year, and I went in there and it wasn't for investigation at all. Literally, I was taken straight up to this bedroom. There was a woman with 2 children, spirit people in there, and they were saying, please help us to go over. So I pulled down the light and done the ritual, and they went into the light and my guides took them over, you see. So I still, that's part of my work. It's just happened naturally.
Wow. And you know, the paranormal and abilities, like especially going back, you know, a lot of the time it was a taboo subject, and a lot of the time if someone come out and said I have these abilities, you're automatically looked at as you're a bit of a nutcase, you know. How, when you come out and, you know, when you started telling people about what you're able to do, what was their response to you? Like, was it a good response? Did you have people that were not as nice as some others?
I never experienced anyone being nasty about it, or not to my face anyway. I didn't have anything like that. I think my family, well, my dad was never really understanding of it. I don't think he still understands what I do. He's very confused about it all. But my 2 brothers understand it, and they always say to me that I've always been a bit weird anyway. Because they've experienced my premonitions before. I remember my brother, I was living in Spain at the time, and I had this dream that this lady had been going around the house called Joanne, who was asking him to take her on the back of the bike, and they went on and they were both killed. So this is I was quite alarmed, as you can imagine. So I phoned my brother up. I hadn't spoken to him for a while, and I told him the dream, and he said, Louisa, you are so strange. He said, because there is a young lady coming around the house called Joanne, and she's been going on at me to go on the back of my bike. He had quite a fast bike, and he keeps saying no. And then when I told him my dream, he said, well, that's it. I won't be taking them on. So he never did.
Wow.
Yeah. So so they know I'm a bit weird.
You're not weird. You're definitely not weird.
It's just great that, you know, the way you've harnessed it and you're using it to help others, you know. And it's just, do you find that sometimes spirits are stronger than what you are? Like they come across very powerful, and, you know, do you have to push them back sometimes because they're too much for you to handle, or have you found a way to handle all types of spirits?
I've never felt that I've had to push a spirit back, but what I have experienced before, I've been physically attacked by a spirit when I was doing a paranormal investigation, and there was it didn't feel it was a man that I'd linked in with, and I was holding hands with one of the team members, and we were pulling down the light as you do to help send them over. And I got physically punched in the solar plexus, which winded me. But we went over. We done the job. What was done, and everything was absolutely fine. You know, that the woman reported back that the house felt calmer and everything was nice. But that's probably the worst experience I've had, and I've not had anything since like that. So not of a physical nature, where it's been alarming or scary or anything like that.
No,
So, do you believe in demons?
That's a good question, Rob.
Everyone.
Do you know what I was going to ask? I was going to ask, but I didn't know how to ask it. You've just asked it outright. Like,
yeah. Well, everyone believes in demons. Apparently, like every YouTuber finds a demon in their videos, and it's like, well, is there really that many demons around? And are you unlucky enough that every video you film, you have a demon that pops up?
Sorry, am I unlucky enough that every video?
No, not you, but like some of these YouTubers.
Oh,
they
right,
usually,
okay.
like, whenever they film, they have a demon that pops up all the time. Is that
I
possible, or is
believe.
that?
I think anything's possible in the spirit world, so I wouldn't, unless, yeah. But let's go back to do I believe in demons? I believe there are different entities at different levels on different vibrations, and some of them will do our bidding. Some of them will come forward. They're low level. When I say low level, I'm talking about vibrational frequency. And some of them, so when we pass over to the spirit world, we go to the vibration that's right for us. So it depends on the life we've led here. So if we've been a very evil person, a mass murderer or something like that, you go to that low level vibrational frequency. They have the free will to recognize what they've done and to be able to move on and through the spirit world. But actually, some of them don't do that. And what they do then is they stay down and down, they get lower and lower in the vibration. And if they stay there for a long enough time, they can lose almost like a human form. They lose their humanity, their human form. And they can become more creature-like, more animal-like. And this is what, and then they can become, quite evil, really. Because we've got evil, we've got light, we've got dark, we've got to have, both, because it's the way of the world. And if we're working with magic, safe magic, for example, and we want something to do our bidding, but we are working on the dark side, then we can conjure up these low-level entities to come and do this work for us. But there's always a price, and it's quite a big one usually. Yeah, so that's in a nutshell my understanding of it. And I suppose you could say those things are quite demonic in a sense. Yes. I do believe in things like possession, and I think it's very rare, incredibly rare, but I think it can be possible. Yeah.
So is that the same as, when you're talking about they go to the vibrations that's right for them and then they choose either go up or go down? Is that the same as you saying that there's a heaven and hell then? Would you?
Not really, Nando, because, I believe that everything is vibrating all around us just on different frequencies. So it's not really about up there or down there. Heaven and hell is what I believe to be is a religious belief. And I don't believe in heaven and hell, but I suppose if you wanted to liken it to that, then if you're looking at vibrational frequency, you see, when I tune in with the spirit world, I'm not going up. It's all around me. It's just a different frequency, and the spirit world vibrate very, very fast, very light frequency. Here on Earth, this is the densest, heaviest, one of the heaviest frequencies. And for me to connect with the spirit world, what I have to do is learn how to raise my vibrational frequency, and I do that through training. The spirit world lower theirs, and then we can make that connection. But they're all around, so it's not like an up there or down there. You don't go to hell, but hell could be whatever you make it. I mean, some people live a hell here, don't they? You know, on Earth.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. 100%. Rob?
Yeah.
Reverend Bill said, if a demon appears on every investigation, the problem might be you. I think that's about easy to say, to be fair.
Yeah. Like kind of attracts like, in a sense. So I think if I was attracting that type of energy to me, I'd have to really be looking at what my thought patterns were, how I was conducting my life, how I was living, how I was feeling.
Yeah.
And you tend to find that entities are kind of, low-level entities can be around. If you've got people who are, say, drug addicts or alcoholics, for example, what happens is that lowers vibration immensely. And if over a period of time, if they stay in that low vibrational frequency, then they can come in, you see.
Wow.
And it can cause more like depression and things like that with people.
So
Yeah.
with you, how can I? When you're sitting at home, say, did things trigger like when you least expect it? So, you know, when you watch the news, sometimes you get some really hard cases that are being told, like murder cases and things like that. Have you ever had like you're watching something on TV about a murder case, then you've had an image suddenly come through, or something you've been shown something? Like, have you ever experienced anything like that at all?
I can't remember offhand, Nando, to be honest, but I probably have, because intuitively I'll get a feeling about things. You know, I've got a friend who's particularly good at missing persons. So if somebody comes up and, you know, she can go into where they are, and she's actually found some people as well, help the police.
Wow.
So
That's amazing.
you know, so psychics, it's a psychic gift. It's not a gift I have to find missing people, but I haven't tuned into that yet. I don't know that I will, but definitely, yeah. I think when you're watching, I tend not to watch the news. I've got to be honest.
I was going to ask, do you watch the news or do you avoid it for that reason?
I skim through my Sky app once a day just to keep up with what's going on world affairs, and then I don't look at it anymore. I definitely don't listen to it.
No.
Yeah, I tend not to do that.
I think if we all watch the news, we get depressed anyway, so it's just best not to watch it.
Well, it's and there's nothing you can do about it. You know, if you go back to our grandfathers and grandmothers, we weren't bombarded with world news all the time, were we? They were, you know, they may get a local newspaper or something like that, but it wasn't all this world news, all these disasters and everything that's going on around the world. We need to just focus more on our communities, I think, and local, what's going on around us. Yeah.
So Stonehenge. Lovely place. I haven't been yet. Cam keeps saying we're stopping, we go, and we keep driving past, and I'm like, when are we stopping? I think we're going to try and do it when we come up next week.
Lovely.
What is the background behind Stonehenge? Because people often ask, who built it? Why was it built? Why is it in a circle? What does it represent? So,
yeah, well, I can't give you all the history on it, but what I can give you, it's a sacred site, and it's a sacred site for ceremony, for ritual, and it goes way back, you know, the Druids, pagans, Neolithic man, goes right back to then, and it's set in a very specific way, where when the sun rises, the sun comes through, and it's all it's a very magical area, and there's burial grounds all around it as well.
Yeah.
So the whole landscape is incredibly sacred, and I've experienced it. I don't know if I told you about this before, Rob. When I was walking, I went there for a summer solstice, and
Right.
there's a lot of people that go there, and you can actually go in and touch the stones. You can go up to the stones and touch them, which you can't do if you just pay to go in.
Yeah.
And you just see them. But I was in with a drumming circle on the outside of the circle, and we were there drumming and getting in with the music and that, and just drinking tea. So there was, it was morning, so we were completely compass mentis. And as we were walking round, I said, let's go for a little walk. I was walking around with my partner at the time, and as we're walking round, we've got a quarter of a way around the circle. And I said to my partner, oh, that circle looks like the circle we were just standing at. And he said, no, it is.
Huh?
We'd literally just walked a quarter of the way, but we time travelled in some way and ended up back where the circle was. And I spoke to someone about that recently, and they gave me an explanation for it. I can't remember what they called it now, but it can happen now. It can happen at Stonehenge.
Wow.
Wow.
Magical place. So when you go, you can get a headpiece to put on, and they tell you all the history about it.
Oh, brilliant.
But really, it's a sacred site for ceremony. That's what it is, and ritual.
So speaking of ceremony, there seems to be a very special ceremony happening next week.
There is. Yes.
Yes. And that's at a very sacred place as well. So would you like to explain a little bit about what's happening next week?
Yeah, so I'm with my partner and I, Jim. His beliefs are all Native American, and what we're doing is it's a ceremony. It's a blessing on Beltane full moon, and it's going to be at the Tor in Glastonbury in the apple orchard. So we're doing it at 9 o'clock at night. So this is when the moon rises. So the ceremony is going to be half an hour, and basically it's not a hand fasting. A hand fast is where it's more like a pagan marriage, but we're not getting married. It's a spiritual blessing. It's a blessing for our union, for our love, on Beltane. And Beltane is a pagan fire festival, and it's where that's the festival of love, really. It's the festival of unions, marriage, and coming together of man and woman, and showing their love for each other. So we're doing it on a very special time. Yeah, so very excited about that.
I'm very excited because I'm going, and I can't wait. Although I'm worried about walking all the way up to the Tor because it's
you won't be
high up there now.
No, it's not at the top of the Tor, Rob. It's in the apple orchard, which is just at the bottom.
That's all right.
We've got a lot of elders that are coming, so they wouldn't be able to walk all the way up there.
I'm not an elder. I'm just crippled.
I didn't say you was.
I'm just crippled.
Well, you're younger than me.
I know, but you're a lot more fitter than me at the moment.
No, don't worry. We've got elders coming and they can't walk up the top, so we're doing it down at the apple orchard. It's only a little walk. You'll be okay.
No, that'd be nice. Well, the last time I went up the Tor, Cam took me up there twice in one day, and I nearly had a heart attack because it's not exactly like low down. It is very high up.
Very
the vibration up there, the vibration up there are very, very tense and very solid, and it's nice.
You could feel it, could you?
It's very nice.
Yeah, it's a magical, very sacred, beautiful spot. It's the heart chakra of the world, apparently.
But Glastonbury's like that anyway, full stop, isn't it? It's such a spiritual place.
High vibrational energy. And often when people come here from outside, they come into Glastonbury, it takes a couple of days to adjust to the energies, especially when you're sensitive, because it's such a high energy here. And it takes you a couple of days just to land and get into it, really.
Yes. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it.
It sounds lovely. It sounds really nice, and so the blessing is what do they do with the blessing then? Is it someone that just reads something, or what will take place?
We're going to open it up with my friend Draupadi, who's also my neighbour, is a minister, and she's going to be taking the ceremony for us. So she will open it up by calling in all the directions and the elements of earth, air, fire, water, and the goddess, or whatever she calls in, whoever she calls in, and spirit. And then she'll just do some sort of incense and water and things and say some words. Then we've got a lot of musicians up there, because Jim is a musician and he writes his own music and sings his own songs. So he's apparently going to sing something for me. We've got a harp player up there as well. And he's going to be, Tim is a good friend of Jim's, and he's going to be playing the harp as people arrive. And we've got other musicians who bring in their mandolins, guitars, stuff like that. So there's going to be some music going on. Jim and I will say some words to each other. And then we're going to finish with a little toast of either mead or apple juice if people don't drink, just to say toast to our love for it. And that's it.
That sounds lovely. that sounds really, really nice. That sounds really nice.
I'm going to take some pictures, Nando, and a video. It'd be really great.
Yeah, you have to show me the video. Like,
I'll be dressed up.
Absolutely lovely.
An outfit, special outfit.
Cam's got something to wear. I'm like, I don't know what to wear. Because I had a lovely waistcoat that would have fit, but I've lost so much weight it just hangs off me. So I'm like, I don't know what to wear now.
Hey, we just come as you. It's fine. There's no pressure on anyone to wear anything special. I mean, some of Jim's tribe will be, they're going to be dressed in, like Tim is always like a Viking. It's the way he dresses. So he's coming as that, and some will be dressed Native American. My friend Dropady's very Native American. I'm going kind of, well, I shouldn't really give it away, should I? But I'm going.
No.
Goddess like.
So yeah, just come as you wish.
That sounds lovely.
It'd be nice to be part of it, and I know me and Cam are looking forward to it. So
yeah, really nice.
Sounds amazing. Sounds great.
Yeah.
As Bill says, it's conforming a union of love for each other.
Exactly, that's what it is. Yeah.
The Reverend Wild Bill, bless him. So you've just come back from Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And what was you doing out there? Teaching, weren't you?
Both. I was teaching. I took a 2-day mediumship seminar, and sit-ins, so private sit-ins while I was there as well. It was amazing. It's so lovely to go out to Germany. German people, really lovely, and it's really nice the group that I was with on the seminar. I've been teaching them for just under a year, and I've taken them through different stages of their development, and now we're going into the 4th part, which I'm going back for in November to do as well, and I'll be back there teaching the cards in September. So I still do quite a lot of work out in Germany, but it's really nice because I get there and I don't have to focus on anything other than just doing my work. I'm so looked after. It's really lovely.
No, that's brilliant.
It's like I'm going to apologise.
One final thing from me, and that is your church that you started. Can you tell everyone how? Because the last time you were on, it was just going to be starting. I think it was a week or two after you were on last time that was going to be your first. So can you tell everyone how it's going so far? It's
going absolutely incredible. The Spiritualist Centre of Avalon is, I don't want to call it a church because it's not a church because we're not religious. It's non-religious, non-profit organisation. And what we do is once a month we meet in Glastonbury. We just hire a hall, set it up really lovely, and we have different mediums and psychic artists coming in, and people bringing different offerings, and the people come in, and it's donation only, and any money that we take goes back into the community after we've paid expenses to help with food or homelessness or charities or whatever we can do, we've been full to capacity every single time. It's been incredible.
Wow.
People were sitting on the floor, they were sitting on the tables. It was just that, and we didn't know what to expect, because when I say we, there's a team of 4 of us that do this. I'm the president, I'm sort of founder president, and then There's Sally, who's creative director, my friend Sidika, who does the marketing and helps with the newsletter, and then Jim does the treasury, he's the treasurer. So so we work as a team, and we didn't really know how it was going to go. But then the feedback we've had from people has been incredible, because they've all said this is just what Glastonbury needed. Apparently, in Glastonbury, there's over 60 different, not religions, or maybe religions and belief systems here.
Yeah.
Not one of them was to do with spiritualism.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's surprising, considering it's such a spiritual place.
Yeah, so we've brought spiritualism to Glastonbury.
Oh, well done. Well done.
Amazing.
Well received. Yeah, I think it was needed. I think it was definitely needed.
Nando, is there anything you'd like to ask before we wrap
No,
up?
I've asked all the questions I really want to ask, and it's been great. The way you've answered them has been absolutely great.
Oh, thank you.
Well, do you know what? I've got loads of other questions that I could ask, but I know Rob's going to be like, "Will he shut up for more than 5 minutes?"
No, you carry on asking. It's
No?
fine.
Okay. I've got. Where do you see yourself going with this then? Because you're doing a lot at the moment. Do you want to just continue as you are, or do you have other projects in mind that you would love to try and go for as well?
Yeah, I mean, I tend not to chase things. I let opportunities open up and come to me, or the spirit bring them at the right time. However, at the moment, there's something that I'm doing for myself, is that I'm developing sitting for physical mediumship and trance. And I've got a very small group at home. There's only 4 of us, and we sit once a week to develop the physical side of things. So that's one thing. And then another thing that I'm going to be doing is running retreats from Glastonbury, so mediumship retreats.
Wow.
So where people can come here and have a whole weekend and just relax and be in the mediumship, go on maybe a little tour of Avalon, and find out a bit about the magic of Glastonbury. So that's something that I'm aiming for at the end of this year, and to work a bit more with the paranormal again. Actually.
Yes.
Well, that'd be cool. Well, you have to come down with us then if you're ever down south.
Oh, I'd love
Rob
to
come as well. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I do have one other question, if you don't mind me asking.
Oh, absolutely.
This has been a big learning curve for you. You've learned a lot about yourself, and you've developed your skills and everything. If someone was watching that had the abilities, but they're struggling on how to deal with things, what advice would you give them?
Okay. Very often when we are gifted and given these beautiful abilities, a lot of the time, if we don't learn about how to develop them and manage them and learn about how they affect us, it can run awry a little bit with us, and it can be quite challenging. So I would suggest, firstly, always to meditate, be aware of your thoughts, what you're thinking, because that's a big one. And that's one of the things that I always teach first when I'm teaching anyone to do with psychic or mediumship, is we do the inner work first. We look at the inner. And I would say to find an awareness circle in your area would be good. An awareness circle is where you begin to develop the psychic gifts. It's where you begin to become aware of your abilities, aware of energy, and how to work with it. So to find a good circle, and to find somebody who can take you and mentor you or help you or teach you. But I think the spirit guides, sitting in meditation, connecting to your own guides, speaking to your own guides, and asking them to help you as well. That sometimes they're just waiting for that invite to come in, you see.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. That is a cool answer. Thank you for answering that.
That's all right.
Yeah. There you go. I've asked my last question, Rob.
Okay.
I'm all good. I'm all good, mate.
Very good questions, actually. Very good. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So I know sometimes, I ask very direct questions at times, and it's not because I disbelieve it. It's just, do you know when you don't understand something and you just want to learn, and and it's just understanding how things, like the tarot cards. It's just to understand, because when I've seen people do it when I've gone to conventions, and all I can see them doing is shuffling the cards, and then and for me on the sideline, it's just well, that's just pot luck that you're picking. So it's just
Sure.
understanding the process, and
How it
that's
works.
the thing. And that's all I like to do, is just learn from people and understand how it's actually working for them.
Definitely.
Because it's easy for us to say what we're seeing as ourselves, but we don't know what's going through that person's mind or how it's been worked for them to do that. So yeah, I enjoy asking my questions, and it's always great when someone like yourself is very open and honest with your answers, and you just say it as you can. And it's been great chatting to you. It's been
Thank
great.
you. Yeah, it's been a pleasure to be on. It's been a pleasure.
And you're an amazing guest, and I know everyone likes having you on. So no doubt you'll be invited back again and
Thank
again.
you, Lord.
100%. 100%.
And yeah,
That'll be good.
we've got the paranormal stuff to look forward to, which we're
Absolutely. Yes.
still going to
Yeah.
sort out. So that'll be good. So what I'm going to do, Louise, is put you in the green room.
Okay.
We're going to say our goodbyes, and then we'll all chat afterwards.
Lovely. Great. Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Nando. Thanks, everyone.
See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, what a lovely guest. You can see where Cam gets it from.
But it's just the way she presents her answers and everything as well. It's, I really enjoyed chatting with Louisa. That was great. I know I bombarded the questions. I know I kept going and going and going, but
you know what? It's fine like that, because it gives someone else the chance. Because obviously I spoke to Louisa last time. I know Louisa from outside of this little circle anyway, and I've spent time at her house. So it's nice that you got involved and asked a load of questions, because sometimes I've already asked questions when I've been sitting in the kitchen and asking for advice and stuff like that. So I've exhausted a lot of what I knew. There was certain things I wanted to ask about, like the blessing and Germany and stuff like that. So no, it was really nice. What are you up to for the rest of this week?
This week, what am I up to? No, pretty much this week is just making sure the kids are all right. We got a podcast on Sunday with the pool team.
You're interviewing your own team, aren't you?
I'm interviewing my own team. For a change, it needs to be done. Everyone needs to see the full team. I've got a great team. We're a great team, and it's going to be great to have people shoot questions over to them for once. And then we're back out investigating on the 4th of May at Withering Manor in Portsmouth. But other than that, really, at the moment, it's just being the daddy, looking after the boys, making sure Sarah, the boys are okay, and making sure you're okay, the big teddy bear.
I'm always all right, even when I'm not. As I say to Cam, I'm always all right, even when I'm not. I'm fine.
But it's good, because when you're feeling a bit down, give us a ring. And like you said yesterday, like you saw yesterday, Sarah cheer you up, because she has a funny way of talking, doesn't she?
That's it. It's like, well, if there's no one around to talk to, if the boys aren't here, I know I've always got you to. I just pick up the phone. Louisa's the same. She's always like, just ring.
And you see what Rocco's like with you. Rocco walk in the house, he ignores me, and then suddenly you're on the phone. What's up, G? My G, what's up?
Yeah, Rocco loves me. The kids love me.
Yeah.
It's like,
what was it that he said to me? You're just a meatball to me.
Yeah.
You're his G, and I'm a meatball. Can you believe that? My own son.
Well, can't say too much. Okay, well, that being said, no live Monday, no live Wednesday either. What are you staring at?
Hey, the Alexa's just switched on its own.
Oh, okay. You got a ghost. Louisa's brought something into your house.
Don't start that stuff with me, because
Louisa's brought something into the light.
Still awake. Everyone's still awake in my house, so I'm all right at the moment. But no, it's been a good show tonight. It's been great.
Yeah, there's nothing now. Nothing Monday, nothing Wednesday, because I'm not here. I'm in Glastonbury.
Have a great time.
I will.
Have an amazing time. And it sounds like it's going to be an amazing evening. It just sounds like it's going to be a lovely evening. But enjoy it. You have a break. Enjoy yourself.
It'd be nice to let my hair down and get away from Brighton for a little bit and spending it with lovely people. Jim is amazing. I'm not quite sure how Jim and Cam are going to be on a full moon. With it being a full moon, it could be an interesting Jim turns into a werewolf and Cam just goes scatty. So this could be like me and Louisa could be sitting in a room just rocking somewhere. It'd be like, oh, I can't go. But we'll see how it goes. But other than that, I just want to say thank you everyone for coming into the chat tonight. And we'll see you all in 2 weeks' time.
Take care, everyone.
See you all later, and I'll speak to you in the green room, sir.
Oh, do I have to? I don't mind Louisa, but bye, everyone.
Bye.